Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, August 5th. Trader James here doing a quick trade review. More so psychological review, journaling, thoughts. I had just about every bad habit come out today that you can think of. Tilt, overtrading, revenge trading, not sticking to my plan, um, sizing up, just jumping in willy-nilly, to trades. I lost track of how many trades I had. Unfortunately, the software that I'm using right now counts each entry as a trade, so I'm not entirely sure how many trades themselves there are because I normally add to my trades. But there's had to have been at least 30. I stopped keeping track. I stopped writing them down. I stopped following my game plan. I initially started pre-market trading, so that's a bad sign right there. Then when the market opened, I had a decent catch up there. Got back to positive on the day. So the first, it was somewhere around here. Not great pre-market trading. Did okay in here. I caught along with the break, and then the break of the open there. I entered long and caught a little trade there. So now I'm back to positive on the day, up a little bit, and I said, all right, now I'm not going to go down to, I think I was up like 5 or 6 R at that point, and I said, all right, I'm not going to go down to, I'm going to walk away with at least 1 R today, or 2 R, or whatever it was. Then I got caught up trying to trade in here, waiting for the candle break. I should have just, I was marketing long and then marketing in short, just within this little tight range right here. If I traded my plan, I would have waited, right? Like there's no entry signal. I enter when the candle breaks the previous candle. So this candle is an inside bar of that one. Inside bar, no trade. Inside bar, no trade. Then we have a nice entry right here. Perfect short, but I'm already way over trading on the day. Right there, boom, nice trade, add my second position, and then get out within 5 minutes, right, on that candle. Nice quick trade. Could have had that one there. Could have had another one here with the entry on that inside bar short. But from about here to here, I think is where I ended the day. I went up. I said, all right, initially it was, all right, I'm not walking away with less than 1 R, and then I went up a little bit more. I'm not walking away with less than 5 R. Then I went down to about 4 R, and that's when I think the tilt really triggered in there, because I went past what I said I was going to do. So I was like, all right, my monkey brain's saying, all right, well, I just need 1 trade just to get back to break even. But then if I'm trying to get back to break even, I'm forcing all these trades, and I'm jumping in and jumping out, just trying to get that little bit back where I was supposed to be. Just taking this paper cut loss. I ended up going all the way negative on the account, so not even just ending at plus 5 R, plus 1 R. I ended up going down to like minus 5 R, which I normally stop at minus 4 R. So now I'm down more than a day loser. Now I start just kind of freaking out. Like, all right, I broke so many of my rules. I am way off of the high of day. I'm like probably 25 R off of the high of the day on this account, and I size up. So that, and I've gone tilting, I'm over trading, I'm not sticking to my game plan, I'm jumping in and out of trades, I'm not waiting for my signals, and now adding in sizing up. Fortunately, I was able to keep my risk consistent, even sizing up. But when I size up and then drop my stop in half, from 10 points down to 5 points, there's not a lot of wiggle room there. So I kept getting stop out, and I get break even, then stop it, then break even, then stop it, then maybe plus a couple R, then stop out. I should have stopped. There's so many times when I should have stopped today, and I just didn't. Ended up catching a short on, I believe it was this candle here. Took the short, waited, it was finally an okay trade. Had this little bounce here. I took the short on this candle, and I waited, and then I got, let's see, it was something like this. And then I did add to the position, put my stop down. I think I added added 2 times to this position with double my what I should be trading. So really, I'm like 6 times what I should have. Well, not what I should, but double what I should have, because I had 3 entries at double. Ended up getting back to the high of the day at 10R. But yeah, like, so not happy with how I got there. My mental state before the open was a 9 out of 10. Probably when I finished, I was probably like a 1 or a 2, and then I went for a run, had lunch, kind of chilled for a bit, and now I'm doing my review. I feel like there's not much else that I could have done poorly, on this trade. I could have, I definitely could have sized up more. I could have not stopped when I got back to positive on the day, but just so bad, so definitely have some things to work on. I wrote down in my trade journal things to work on tomorrow, just starting off with cutting down the number of trades. There were so many trades that it's hard to even review when you get that many, and then I'm doing them so frequently, like every minute or two I'm entering another trade. It's hard to keep track of all of them. So cut down the amount of trades. I want to, when I say I'm going to take a break, I need to walk away from the screen. That was one of the things that initially I was doing. I did the pre-market trading, not great, but then I had this cut the long off the open, or just after the open there, and I'm up on the day. I said, all right, I'm going to take a little break, I'm going to walk away. I didn't, and that's when I started getting chopped up in here, and then chopped up and chopped up, gave everything back, and then just went on tilt from there. So when I take a break, I need to step away from the screen, not just sit here and like look at my phone or something, and then look up and then see, oh, well, maybe that's doing this, or maybe it's doing that. I need to actually disconnect. And then the third thing that I have written down is I need to stick to my plan. Market orders, not use market orders, but actually stop limit orders on candle breaks with the trend or with my strategy. So entering long, let's see, we break there, we break up off of oversold, that's a decent trade. The break of the double inside bar, that's a decent trade. The break of that inside bar, that's an okay trade, but now we're already at support, so it's not that great. Then we break support. We had a little bounce here. It's probably 2-minute lower high. Enter, that's an okay trade. We're coming off of oversold, but not, we're very weak, so I'm not looking long. I would look for a short there, which I believe that was like 35 points. That would have been a decent trade, looking for the 5-minute lower high. And then this one I would have gone short there again, but that would have been stopped out there, and then I would have gone for the 5-minute lower high there, and there's another decent little scalp trade. So there's lots of opportunities today. I just need to stick to the plan, wait for those actual entries, those triggers, manage my emotions, and stop when I say that I need to stop. I could have just been done right around here at 5R and not had this whole bit of tilt all through there for the 45 minutes or whatever it was. Grateful that I am back to positive on the day. Definitely could have gone the other way, could have been down negative 10R. So just an example of a poor trading day, not sticking to my plan, and losing emotional control. So things to work on. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with less than 10 trades, ideally less than 5 trades, and with the plan, with stop market orders, with 5-minute candle breaks. Honestly, I'm a bit rambly. I just a little frustrated, but on to another day. Have a good one.